After 8+ years of being a time management nerd, today I'm revealing my most evolved and effective planning system so far. Hi, I'm Karina. Welcome back to my channel. I used to be the time management bitch. Like, I used to schedule my showers and my meals in college. I've tried everything. I was bullet journaling for 3 to 4 years. I was intensively scheduling things on my calendar for 3 to 4 years. I had even made my own planners before, like custom made.
Karina Chan, 2015. So I had like every single class and customized these headings every month so they'd be different. Also a scheduled breakdown of time.
Tried Notion for like 2 to 3 years. I tried them all, and each system had its flaws that kept me from using them exclusively. It's a fine balance finding a system that gives you enough granularity but isn't super annoying to have to keep up. I finally found the best and most effective method of planning. First, let's keep in mind what we need from a planning system. We need goal setting, note-taking, priority management, scheduling, journaling, and free space for when you need to get out some catharsis, collections, and overall like project management. I kind of split up my system like this, and while it looks like a lot to juggle, I managed to use them all pretty effectively by keeping it really simple. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Let's break down this system. Starting with priority management and the bullet journal, which is the most important thing. If you have a very clear understanding of your goals and priorities at all times, then you can focus on breaking down the task into smaller ones and scheduling time for them, yada yada. That's like the easier part. This is kind of the beginning of it all. If it isn't important to you, it doesn't deserve your time and energy. I find writing down my priorities forces me to be more conscientious about them, and it commits their importance to my memory. Because like the time cost of writing something down is significantly more than when I type. I don't know about you, but I forget what I type all the time. So if it's really important, I'll slow down my mind to take the time to document it in my journal. I try to write in it for 5 minutes at night before I go to bed and 5 minutes in the morning. Started off 2023 with a list of visions and goals I wanted to achieve in the left-hand column. Then on the right side, I wrote about how I would execute them. I did this in my bullet journal because it is important to commit this intention and this plan to memory. I taped in a yearly calendar in case I need to reference it, have a blank page for important dates, and I move on. That's it. My monthly view is a monthly calendar, important events, a social tracker, because that matters to me, and my goals. Weekly, I have a short list of important reminders, a line a day, and habits I want to commit to, no more than 3 to 4. Then each day is just a list. Tasks to complete or reminders. Sometimes I have a stream of consciousness journaling. I keep my daily needs in my bullet journal minimal. Any journaling or sudden lists I need to make doesn't break up the flow of the bullet journal. Usually with bullet journaling, there's all this hoopla and ceremonies and BS that was fun back in the day, back when I had time. But now I just find it kind of frivolous and unnecessary. Definitely gone down the bullet journal time suck rabbit hole, and I will not make that mistake again. Now we have this minimal, clear book of intentions and goals. What I'll do now is make sure every task in my bullet journal is reflected on my calendar. I have a mush for a brain. I think sometimes because TikTok has just like obliterated my ability to remember and stay attentive to things. So when I see free time on my calendar, I just kind of assume I don't need to be doing anything. The ideal situation is for me to wake up, and at any point in time, if I forget what I should be doing, I can just pull up my phone and look at my calendar and I know what I should be doing. And it should tell me because past Karina was smart enough to make sure I made the most out of my time.
Shameless plug for my fashion TikTok, which you should follow.
I have 3 rules for this. 1, if you didn't schedule it, it's not happening. Hanging out with friends, taking a shower, driving to see said friends. If I can remember to, I will schedule in as much detail as I can because I have awful attention and memory. So I need to do this so that I make sure I don't flake on anyone by accident, and that I tend to all my needs. If I cannot do all the things I said I would do in my bullet journal, I try to reschedule things with my friends. Number 2, I think there's a lot of stigma around sending your friends a calendar invite for like very basic things because it makes you seem corporate or networky. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to maintain a balance between my personal life and my social life. I'm the kind of person where I tend to overbook myself, so this just keeps me from doing that when I can see on my calendar, oh, I'm hanging out with people a lot today. But even if your friends aren't the type to do calendar invitations, you can still like schedule it on your own calendar for yourself so you're at least aware of how much time you're spending with other people. Number 3, especially if I have a consistent goal I'm trying to achieve over time, like post on TikTok every day, I schedule that in too, because if it's in your calendar, you can't say that you don't have the time because you literally have the time. Obviously, scheduling is most effectively done on your digital calendar because you can switch things around very easily. You don't have to, on your bullet journal, like scratch it out, make it pretty again. Obviously, you're not gonna bring your bullet journal with you everywhere you go, but you will probably bring your phone with you anywhere you go. Next up, Notion. Remember when I had execution plans written down for all of my visions? This is where I'm going to keep track of all the things I need to do to make it a reality. Some examples of things I put on my Notion are 1, drafts of writings, scripts for YouTube, things I want to talk about on my fashion TikTok, even like templates for outreach, LinkedIn messages I want to send to people. Anything that requires like a legitimate bit of writing, I put in there, as long as it's project oriented. If it's just like cathartic writing where I'm journaling my feelings, I'll put that in my bullet journal. My favorite feature in Notion is the databases. Now, I like to use databases to organize information, like people I want to reach out to network with, content ideas. I use the status and multi and single select most often so I can categorize data and easily filter for things. I also use Notion to track a lot of collections or lists, things that I'm working on a long period of time, like recipes, reading lists, wish lists, and fun things like apartment decorating inspiration. Notion is great when you need a lot of complex information at the touch of a button, but it can also become overwhelming for everyday tasks when there's so much potential complexity, and that can potentially turn off some users as an everyday planning mechanism. That's why I don't use it to plan my day-to-day, even though it's a popular option. I'd like my most basic tasks to be organized off screen, as I find when I have too much of my life on screen, I'm more easily distracted by other things around on the internet. I end up staying up later at night. A 3-minute change to a Notion doc on my computer can turn into like 2 hours of accidental Reddit, Pinterest, when all I really needed to do was like write my simple daily tasks down somewhere. That's another reason why I like using my bullet journal 5 minutes before bed, because it makes sure that I eliminate screen time before I sleep as much as possible. Now you may ask, where does the vision board come into play? I use the vision board method to further bring my goals into reality and to work on manifesting and putting my head in a positive space.
I just wanted to mention that I did this because I used to make a goal page on my bullet journal or my Notion doc, and I just like would never look at it again. But I keep my vision board in sight in my room at all times.
There are a bunch of videos out there that I use to make my vision board, and I'll link the ones that I like best. I really enjoy the ritual of doing it offline, printing out the pictures, cutting them out, taking the time to arrange them. It really commits them in your mind, makes it all the more meaningful. I literally take this board everywhere with me, which sounds ridiculous because it's like a decent size. As long as it fits in my check-in luggage, I am never without it.
Yeah, I don't fuck around.
Because you need to constantly remind yourself what you're working so hard for. If you bother to keep up a Notion, if you bother to use a bullet journal or a planner, you're doing it because you're trying to achieve something. Planning systems are no joke. The issue that I had run into before was that no one planning system fit all of my needs. The calendar was great for scheduling, not so great at notes taking or cathartic journaling or helping me manage my big picture priorities. Bullet journal was great for journaling, goal setting, but it was horrible for scheduling. And it also took a really long time to make it pretty like all of the other bullet journal YouTubers. And it was an outdated way of keeping collections and lists like reading lists and recipes, which now I use Notion for. Notion technically can do all of these things, but I don't think they figured out a way to seamlessly integrate with your calendar yet. There's also nothing quite as cathartic as writing something down by hand. I want to minimize screen time specifically at night before bed. I hope this video gave you some ideas for your own planning setup. Hope your year is off to a great start and that you enjoyed getting organized with me. See you next time, baddies.